Yeah, I think as far as when I knew I wanted to work with nature was really before I knew about knowing, which was that basically as a child, from my earliest memories, I was one of those kids that you couldn't keep out of wet places and muddy places and things. And so my father's a retired captain in the Marine Corps, and I've never returned to anywhere I grew up in my life. And my earliest memories are living on an island in Japan, in Okinawa, Iwakuni area, while he was on his second or third term in Vietnam. So we have photos of me as a 3-year-old, basically with the shirt rolled up and elbow deep, keeping the knees out, not getting muddy, lunging for tadpoles and rice paddies at 3. And so the pursuit of tadpoles and frogs as adults, snakes, turtles. My grandparents were really into hunting and fishing, so anything to do with being outdoors, hunting, fishing, family cabins up near West Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, Highland Park. So I grew up with summers where there was beaver and moose and trout fishing and elk and sandhill cranes, and pretty much was a kid that was unstoppable. But herpetology, snakes and fish. And I collected snakes and caught snakes and studied snakes and had field guides and all through elementary school and into middle school and high school. But then things got weird, and collecting snakes wasn't cool, and then I had to go to work and do that sort of stuff. So the deep foundation of just being in what nobody called it nature. I didn't grow up in a family that had an academic sense about it. It was just being a kid, being outdoors, being physical, being into sports, into the woods, woodcraft, and camping and this kind of stuff. But the upbringing was strong enough that getting through the high school years and having the workaday world years, there was always a foundation to return to. That was the little spark that never got extinguished. The flame just got dimmed for a little while and then got reinvigorated. How do we move pragmatically forward on the fact that the ability to implement solutions and address how to regenerate soil through regenerative agriculture, reconnect plants to the sun, sequester carbon, build water holding capacity and nutrients? Pretty darn simple. The technologies are really easy. We know how to do this if we want to partner with fungus and bacteria and other life forms and plants and just let plants do what they do, which is they turn sunlight into sugar, into soil, and they swing a deal with the mushrooms that take the minerals out, and they're just, symbiosis is what's really happening out here. And we can partner with life and be probiotic versus antibiotic. And currently, human settlement writ large, industrial capitalism-based perceptions that the planet is a commodity versus a community is driving a degradation, death spiral. We're in the 6th great extinction wave, and that's pretty clear. And so that's antibiotics. So we have a allopathic expression of life on this planet that's dependent on antibiotics against life in a place where it's the only place in the known universe where there is life. The idea that we, as one expression of life, live on the only known place on the planet where there is life, and our dominant focus is creating systems that are against life, doesn't make much sense. And so how do we have a probiotic worldview? It's a spiritual, political, social, cultural, economic expression of rethinking and retrofitting human settlement at every scale, urban, rural, suburban, forestry, rangeland, ranching, mining, on behalf of creating conditions that create carrying capacity for life versus what we're doing now. And when I look at design sciences that help people engage, that are pragmatic and accessible for the people at many levels in society, I think permaculture holds a whole bunch of keys to supporting the awakening, if you will, the opportunity to have meaningful engagement that's heart-centered, that's got dirt under the nails, that's pragmatic and tastes really good. And you can drink success with rainwater harvesting, and you can reuse it through gray water, and you can grow soil and grow plants and fruits and vegetables and have healthy, nutritious existences where human health as an expression is a metric of success in design. And pollution as an unused resource, that permaculture principle, diabetes you could call a form of pollution, right? And so that's ultimately results, diabetes is basically the result of a bad diet. We call it a diet because you're going to die from what you ate. No, right? You got to have a live-et. We need a live-et that is actually about complex foods and not simple sugars and not processed foods and cardboard. And so how do we go back into mineral, nutrient-dense, live, planetary watershed healing processes where the pursuit of agriculture is actually the production, the output of agriculture isn't in the budget quantified explicitly as calories of food. It's clean water and it's clean air and it's healthy communities and it's resiliency over time that we also happen to get to eat some of the byproduct of, right? Or drink the byproduct of. And it's a bit of a different framing. And it's unfortunately, I think we have job security out there because there's, 6 billion plus folks who are all clamoring for a better worldview, and it's a pretty small subset of a worldview that's domineering the conversation and the actualization and the access for most of the world to its birthright, if you will, so that they have the capacity to exercise their birth responsibility. I think there's too much fixation on birth rights and not enough on birth responsibilities. And rights and responsibilities is the yin-yang of harmony and equilibrium. And when we have private property rights and water rights, we get fixated on the rights, and we don't have enough rites of passage, R-I-T-E, instead of the rights, which then become too many wrongs because we lack the responsibilities of our ability to respond. And so what does that look like? And reverential reciprocity in a rights and responsibility relations would appear to me to be an ethical, moral, spiritual platform which we all would benefit from by rekindling our relations with a living planet. And it's just a heck of a lot more fun to be involved in this work anyway.
There is a path waiting for you in permaculture, a future that is regenerative career, permaculture, food forest, harvesting of rainwater, storage of abundance, helping everyone in your bioregion become more regenerative, becoming more resilient, bringing back the local economy, but this time aligning it to natural cycles so that we are continuously getting better and better. That's the Advanced Permaculture Student Online. And the new season starts soon, so I want you to be part of it. Click the link below, see what is possible with over 70 different experts and educators from around the globe. You could start a career, you could just transform your site and do an incredible homestead, but you could also start a business. This is permaculture. This is the regenerative future. Join us in the Advanced Permaculture Student Online. Click the link below. Let's go.